welcome back today. We're gonna get the cab on the frame. That is today's episode. So I gotta get this all cleaned up and just a little bit of prep work here, get this old bushing out, and then other than that, we'll be flipping that cab over and picking it up, putting it down on the frame. So let's get to it. Alright, so I got done cleaning up all my garbage sitting on top. So now I need to get this bushing out. Previously, when this was still my brother's truck, he did the little repair here. I assume I'm gonna have the same problem there, so I may have to throw that one on. I think I still have one of these. He gave me a couple, or whichever ones he had left. Either way, I'll make it work. So I just need to get this off next. I'm gonna try a pry bar first, but I don't know how to go. It might be in there really tight, it might not be, it might just come right out. So we'll see here in a second. Okay, I can't really say. So this top sleeve goes in and then it actually gets to a smaller diameter. I thought it was the other one coming up, and it's not. It's just the diameter gets smaller. And then the lower cup is really, I think it's on the outside of the smaller diameter of this top piece. Not sure. Both of these are seized together currently, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath. So you see that nut there. So that takes a 7/16 bolt. I only have one. And I haven't used this Sawzall in a while, so it's a good exercise for it. So I'm just gonna ride the top of this part of the frame cross member and just cut through the sleeve, and then the pieces will fall apart. So that's what I'm gonna do. Actually wasn't that bad, but there you go. See, I got a little bit of work. Come down in here. So let's see, this side's actually pretty good right here. This outer edge is the one that's bad. I got these frame saver big washers. These are from Bronco Graveyard. So now I just need to get the grinder in here and clean up this metal, and then I will figure out where I put these. And once I do that, I can get that kind of marked in my location, get that welded, and then we're good to go from there. Searching my random assortment of things, and then I just remembered that I kept car parts up here. I was looking, I'm not sure why. I got ear protection up there, but got my spindles from my 150, and I saw this little bag. There it is. Frame saver piece. You can see, that's what it was, like that. So this will go in there like that. All right, it's the next day. Ran out of battery on the phone last night and time, sort of, so figured just wait till today to get started. So I got it tacked in place, and then I'm just gonna fully weld it around, and that'll be done. And then we could throw some type of paint on this and get the cab on. All right, so a little bit change of plans. Because I said previously I did these frame rails, and but I do remember this part of the section. I was in such a rush, I didn't prep it that well, and needless to say, it didn't hold up real good. So I'm gonna end up redoing probably from the front pad now, all the way back here. So what that means is, as I said, I'm gonna have to redo from about there to basically underneath the cab. That would be my main concern. But I'm just looking at the rest of it, and I'm kind of deciding that's not really important right now. So what's important is I'm gonna get everything ready to go so I can temporarily put the cab on the frame, and then just kind of double check my body mounts and the hole locations and whatnot. So once I know that's all good, then eventually I'll have to go back and lift or pull the cab, and then I can do my final prep and paint on that stuff. Right now I'm just going to get the cab ready to go on the frame. So that's what we'll do now. So I got done flipping this thing over. That was sweet. All right, so I got that all figured out. I just took my board off underneath and I put jack stands on the front, so I picked it up. So it's on jack stands on the front. This side still kind of moves, which is not really ideal, but I'll deal with that. Anyways, so I'm kind of doing temporary body mounts. I could reuse the old one, which is fine, put it in place, set it on top, that's cool. But eventually I'm gonna need this, because just for reference sake. So I figured out that this bushing is, you see it's about 1.5 inches. So that's a 2x4 right there. So I cut a couple pieces. I got one there, drilled my holes, got my bolts. You probably see them hanging right there and right there. So those two, I'll try to just drop in, and that'll at least get me in there a little bit. And then the front, I gotta figure out, I just gotta look up real quick, find out how tall those ones were, and I'm gonna do the same thing, because I don't have the original body mounts. I'm just gonna cut out pieces of wood to temporarily kind of suspend it. So, be right back. All right, there it is. After messing around for a while, I got it on the frame. Had to redo my little makeshift wheels. I put my bigger ones on in this board, so it actually supports under it. I still want to leave this all open when I can. See, those are my temporary body mounts. Ooh, that one don't have a bolt. Oh, that's right, I had to cut the hole for that. But I'll eventually have to, get this all, once I get it to a spot, I want to work on it and get this thing all squared up on the frame. And then from there, I can kind of double check, if I have to modify anything or fix anything else. But otherwise, pretty good. All right, finally getting cleaned up here. Got everything spun around and moved over this side. So now if I want, I can park something here again, which is nice. But yeah, I think that's really gonna wrap it up for today, because family wants to go get ice cream and it sounds like a good idea. So all right, so I'm just getting my body mount bushings here all lined up. I am using the Prothane polyurethane kit that probably most people use for these trucks. Now you can see part of the part number. It's the last letters is BL, but it's for these trucks, 4-wheel drive ones specifically, because I guess they're slightly taller. So I got everything marked out. I got my cab lined up best I could. The paint marker is my trim line basically. So now I'm gonna take these off, and then I will drill the hole, and we'll have a hole for this to sit in there. All right, it's been a few days here. So there's actually been a lot of things happening that I've done off camera. So I got my hole marked, and that's just kind of where it's gonna be, so that's fine. That's ready to go. And I ended up removing all the brackets off the frame because I previously finished the frame, but then I still had some the Rust Encapsulator Plus left over, And like I said, I've had very good luck with it. I know how heavy duty it is, and I really like it. So I decided to go ahead and basically redo the frame with that stuff as my base layer. And then I'm going to paint it black on top. But, so what I did is I spent an evening with my needle scaler, and I ended up doing the whole way underneath the cab. Bottom of the frame rail, everywhere. It just, you name it, I did everything. And then I came back through and did the coating. Rust Encapsulator Plus. Platinum, it's platinum, that's right. It's just, that's why it's silver looking. So now, got that all done. So I'm gonna get ready to spray bomb it with some black spray paint. Basically just top coat it with something. And then I'll clear it, and then I'll be able to put all my brackets back on, and everything underneath, underneath the truck, so to speak, right now will be complete, and I won't have to worry about doing this down the line or wanting to do this down the line. I was just going to throw it all together, but I figured this is the time to do it if I want to do it. So that's why all this has happened. Right now the cab is just kind of floating on a jack stand. Believe it or not, this little tiny piece of wood, and the other side has a jack stand. So that's, and then the frame is sitting on some cinder blocks, and the front of the frame up here is sitting on jack stands. Because I had to jack it up a little bit. I wanted to get it up in the air a little bit. Not quite at ride height, but closer to ride height. That way when I was doing everything, it was a lot easier and I didn't have to really crawl on the ground. And if you're wondering why this is all still black and all that stuff, this has already been done with the POR 15. And that was done, this was probably done like 5 years ago. It's funny, it was just on this little section because my brother was just kind of testing out, see how he liked it. I'll say that stuff really works too. This stuff is perfect. It looks great. There's no flaws in it at all. And I said this in the past, this frame was sitting outside for a long time. Yeah, I mean, for those 5 years and whatnot, not protected by the elements really. So yeah, cool. So what did I find for top coating? This is where I went cheap. I found this at Walmart for $3 a can. And I got some other black paint and I'm just gonna use to kind of fill in the gaps. And then I got clear. I'm gonna clear it as well. Just another layer to protect it. And then that'll be it. And then once that's all done, like I said, I'll get my brackets bolted back on. And then I could finally get the cab and stuff mounted to the frame. But I do have to find new bolts for that too. And then we'll be good to go. I'm gonna get ready to put on my quick color, fast dry, gloss black, all-purpose spray paint. $3 a can. All right, so a couple days later here, after letting the paint set up some more, looks real good. And then I was able to finish up with some clear coating in this spot here and that spot there. And I kind of got it where I could, but that's good enough for now. Now I'm just putting all the brackets back on, but I'll have to make a trip to the hardware store, get some more washers. So I got all new bolts, all grade 8 stuff for up here. Anyways, so yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. Just kind of enjoying the day, throwing stuff together out here. Girls are over here doing their arts and crafts stuff. You can say hi. And the dog's somewhere over there, chilling. Right here. Yep. So it's working out nicely. We're all cozy in here today. But yeah, I just got to get some more hardware and then we'll wrap it up. We're back today. Today just happens to be about a week or so later. So the only thing I'm doing differently here is before I kind of just had this cab sitting in place And I didn't have the actual hardware. I didn't have the washers or the sleeves or really the bolts for it. So now I took the time. I had some 1/8 inch plates, so I cut out my own. They're not perfect. And then I had some pipe here that I actually used as my sleeve, and I kind of ground down the one side of it, the diameter smaller, because that fits the lower bushing. So now they got a coat of paint on them, and then they'll get installed. This will be the top one, that'll be the bottom one, and the sleeve just goes up and in. Very much like the aftermarket set that you can buy for these trucks. Or another route you could have went, could have actually had it together like this, and it could have welded it, because that's how the factory is. And it could have done the same thing with the bottom. Could have had a inner sleeve that goes in there, and that's welded to the bottom washer, and it goes up in and actually sits inside this. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going for a factory here, but this will be better than without a sleeve or anything. All that together just adds some, rigidness here so that nothing moves. It's more solidly mounted there. But so I'm just going to get this stuff in place. I'm going to finish going around, lifting up the cab, just kind of slide these in and get my bolt locations, get all my bolt locations lined up, and then my bolts ran through. And then once I get everything in place, I'll start to tighten everything up and squish everything down. And we'll be good from there. So now I got this jacked up a little bit. So I'm going to actually pull the bolt out real quick. Leave that there. Grab this. So what I like to do to make sure everything is going to hopefully stay corrosion free for a while is I like to grease my bushings here. I think even with these kits, they tell you to grease them. And I think they want you to use, like that white grease, that white lithium grease kind of stuff. Not the spray can, but they give you usually a little pack. I don't have that, but I will be putting some kind of grease in there because it'll be better than nothing. And then we can go from there. Either way, you want to have something there. Let me try and get some more out of this. There we go. So this, I just do the frame side, inner diameter, and then I'll do it on the bushing side. Make sure all surfaces got something on them. And then we want to get something on here too, underneath the flat washer side. So I'll slide that like that. That's good. So this is my top washer here. And I'll get some here. Get a nice coat on here. You don't have to do this, but I've done this in the past with all my other stuff, and I've had good luck doing it like this. So I'm going to keep doing it, because I believe it helps. Get that like that. Now I'll drop this bolt down, and then take this one. We can do the same thing to it. Get it nice and greased up. It'll actually help it install easier too, slide up in there. Although I've already test fitted these, and these are good. But I'll take that. Let's push it right up in there. There, got a nice big hunk of grease. Again, I'm going to do the frame side, make sure we're good. Do the inside. I don't have to worry about the outside, just the inside. Slide that up and over on here. So that'll hold that. So now I can push this up in there. There, that's in there. Nice and easy. Take our bottom washer. Again, more grease. Go up underneath there, and I'll put my nut on, and then I'm going to leave it loose till I get my other, the rear bushings all those washers and stuff secured, and then I will begin to tighten it. Although I'm going to jack this up real quick so I can move this. It's about right here. That'll work. Perfect. Just wanted to give you a bottom shot what I'm talking about. So you can see I got my lower bushing. There's the bolt right here. So we'll go on here like this, up into the hole. I think I got it. Put my finger. Yep. Okay. So we got threads there. I know there's not much bolts sticking out because I don't have the factory bolts, or yeah, I had my own bolts, but I think these front ones, ideally you want at least 3¼ inches long bolts. It'll give you a little bit more there. I think mine are 3 inches. So ideally you would have 1/4 inch more thread. And of course, once we run these down more, you'll have some exposed thread, but this will work. Oops. All right. Got everything all snugged up and in place. That's what that looks like. Well, there's this position here. That one's right there. These back ones, I actually thought I had the correct bolt length, and I didn't, so I ended up finding some 1/2 inch bolts that worked perfect. So now the only goofy thing is I have, a much bigger bolt than the factory. You think the factory is 7/16, but in my case it works out perfect, so I'm not worried about it. That's what those rear mounts look like, all tightened up. Like I said, I left them snug. And that's all I need for now until I get everything else going, and then that's gonna wrap this one up since I got the cab on, and now I actually have it mounted. And my bonus items that I did was I refinished the frame up here, and I got all these brackets back on, and these are ready to go on permanently. So that's gonna take care of this for now. So I think the next step for me is I'm gonna continue working on the cab. I'm gonna get my door posts repaired, and I'm gonna get, I think, the doors on so I can start making this thing actually look like a complete cab. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now. Thanks for tagging along. Hopefully you got something out of it, whether it's good or bad. That's all I'm trying to provide, just something. And then, let me know in the comments what you may have done differently, what you like, what you didn't like. That goes a long way. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that notification button. And other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.